I got questions. Tell me, who decides what a word means, right? Besides the Merriam-Webster dictionary, I know that the definitions are in there, but I really just want to know who actually decides that what is put in these dictionaries, who gave them that power as well. And I don't know, but here's what I do know. One word in the American English language can have a definition, and in reality and real world circumstances, the application of that word can be completely different. And people don't always use the definition, they use a version of that definition that benefits them, right? So, what do we do when words are used as a weapon and as a tool for suppression? It's clearly being done, right? So, um, I want to use a I'm going to choose a word, intelligent, right? That they use. And this is a word that's used, a very strong word. Is used to determine how far you can go in life, in a sense. And I want you to think about what comes to mind when you think about the word intelligent or an intelligent person, right? How they speak, huh? How many or what kind of degree they have, right? And we were conditioned to believe that those determine who's intelligent and who is not. But intelligent comes from Latin, intelligere, right? Intelligence is the ability to choose between, to discern, to judge, to decide, right? So, if the original meaning was discernment and now it means compliance, who changed that? And how and why? Who gave them permission to do it? I mean, we just walk around accepting things that don't even make sense, right? Even today, the definition, if you look it up in Merriam Webster, it still says the mental capacity, sound judgment, clear thought, right? But here's what I really want to show you is how you may recognize it as a weapon and how it's weaponized in our communities, right? They will define or assess our intelligence by a test, right? And a test that they designed and they said that you had to take in order to determine if you are in the right place, right? And I want to say in Buffalo, only 28% of the students of English and language arts passed that in 2023, right? And nationwide, black children are 30 points lower than white Americans, right? In those standardized tests. And this hasn't moved in decades, right? And then what they tell us is that the test doesn't lie. hmm But we ask, who wrote the test? Who decided what proficient means and how it's assessed, right? And we know the answer. They did. They set up the system, they set up the school, they set up the definition. All these systems work together. So they define it, they measure it, and then they use it to label you and determine what opportunities can be afforded to you and what doors can be opened to you, right? But here's what they don't want you to know: intelligence was never meant to be a score. It was never meant to place you in the box. It is solely something you use day to day. It's a judgment, it's an adaptation, it's a creation. It's what you do when you know the system is not built for you, right? You create your own lane, your own way, right? We were never not intelligent because we proved it through history how we created our own spaces, right? Our own communities, right? This whole country. But the definition over time just got smaller and smaller, right? And the reason why we don't fit in that is because we're bigger than that. It's not because we can't fit or we don't want to, but because our capacity is bigger than the box that they built for us to fit inside their system and determine who we are, right? So they made the box, they measured the box, and then they told you that you were the problem because you don't fit inside this box, right? So now you're trying to figure, oh man, what do I do? I can't make it, right? But intelligence doesn't fit in the box. And that's what you need to understand, right? Intelligence expands, it adapts, and it looks at that box and it builds beyond it. And that's the irony of the systems that they built. They weren't very intelligent as they use it themselves because our essence is bigger than that box. And they know that. And they know that something in you they can't measure, can't define, and they can't replicate, right? But they try to condition you to believe that you're not that, right? And that's why they stay confused and everything is always changing to adapt to how we keep rising up, right? Because when they look at us, they don't understand what they're looking at. They can't figure us out because they don't even understand the creator. And we are the wave of the creator, right? Who is the ocean. And if they can't understand the ocean, they can't understand the creator, they can't understand the wave. They just know we hold something sacred, right? They know that we hold something they didn't give you and something they can't take, but yet then they can divert you to believe that you're not that thing, right? They know that you have something that they don't. So how could you ever fit in their box? You cannot, right? We have to understand that and we have to make a daily effort to rise above it, right? So now here's the choice that you have to make today, right? Do you keep using their version of intelligent and let them define you and keep trying to shrink until you fit? Or do you go back to the root words, right? Because that's what they build language on. Intelligere. To choose between, right? Choose between what they told you and what you know is true, right? This is how the system is set up. This is what they told us. They show you where we get these words from. So we need to use their system, but don't let the system use you. Because if they control the definition, they control how you see yourself. I'm telling you. And once you believe that you're less, then you start to shrink. You stop building, you stop becoming, you stop dreaming, you stop visioning, you stop progression. You just become suppressed and oppressed. But you were never meant to shrink. You weren't created for that. You were created to create, right? And this is a test. And it's systems is designed to trap you inside of it, right? As they say, escaping the matrix. So here at Luxury, I tell you all the time, we don't have to tear down the system. We just have to understand the system and we have to learn how to change the trajectory of the outcome from using that system. And we need to let it work for us and not above us and around us. We need to rise above the systems, but we have to understand it and we have to stand up and say, no, this is your system. This is what you told us is true, and you're going to have to stand by it, right? And that's the part of the liberation process. Freedom is conditional, liberation is taken, and we take it by taking back the narrative, taking back the definition, and taking back who we are, reclaiming it, reclamation. So I hope that you stick with me and we meet again. Bye.